I received a 1-star review on one of my Fiverr gigs. Let me tell you how it happened, how it could have been avoided, and the impact it's had on my profile. What's up, nerds? My name's Corey Bergeron. You're watching Corey Bergeron Recordings. We're back with a brand new video. Story time. It was just another normal day on Fiverr when a new user reached out asking if I can mix and master their song. They followed my instructions and they sent over a rough mix plus the multi-track. My initial thought on the rough mix was that the mix was rough, but I thought the song was cool and there were some promising elements in the arrangement. I checked out the multi-track and there were a couple issues. The drum performance was pretty timey. The guitars and the bass were a little timey, but they were also a little toony. They also didn't provide the DIs for the guitar or the bass. And probably most important, the vocals had a bunch of undesirable room ambience in the recordings, as well as certain sections were clipping. Here is where I made my first mistake. Any experienced mixing engineer or producer knows in order to deliver a competitive quality mix, you need to have the right pieces to do so. Good song, good recording, good arrangement. My thought was that I was confident that I could deliver a mix master that was substantially better than the rough mix that they provided. So we went ahead with the order. I spent some time cleaning up the tracks. This is nothing out of the ordinary. A little bit of vocal tuning, a little bit of addressing the vocal timing. I also attempted to de-clip and de-reverb the problem areas in the vocals. I fixed up some of the drum timing and laid down some samples, and then I proceeded to mix the song and deliver it. Here's the message I received. Let me read a few of my favorite parts. Thank you for your submission. I've got lots of issues, my friend. Vocals. Vocals sound good, and I actually like the effect in the beginning, but however, it is too strong and the reverb is crazy high. Let's bring those down a little. To be honest with you, I'm actually not satisfied with my vocal performance, especially in the chorus, so I will record again and send it to you as your revision references. Overall, the vocal sounds extremely rough, although you have done a good job in auto-tuning. Thank you for that, except for the part towards the end where the drum beat comes back after the bridge. Guitars. Doesn't sound up to my standards, my friend. It was unsatisfactory right from the start. It could be on my end, but I wasn't expecting it to sound that way. Bass. Levels are okay. Not much done here, but could sound better with some expertise. Drums. Sound okay, not the best. Could be better. I am not an expert when it comes to mix and master, and that's why I hired you to do the job. But I know what sounds good to my ears, and based on all the awesome rock songs out there, including your band's song, yes, I checked out your band, Locket. This song can sound better, just like those. Please do reply to my requests numerically, just to make sure you get everything I said so that I won't have to say it again. Nice. After reading all that, I knew there was absolutely no way that I could meet this client's expectations with the files that they provided. Even attempting to revise the track to get it up to their standards would be a huge waste of time. So I wanted to create a solution. So I offered to hop on a call. Unfortunately, I didn't record the Zoom call, so I don't have any receipts, so you'll have to kind of take my word for how it went, but this is how it went. Right off the bat, I expressed that I understood their concerns about the mix, but I told them that I can't remedy these with the files that they provided. They were surprisingly understanding and mentioned that they just started recording and that they were using GarageBand for the first time. So I continued to break down every single issue I had with the files that they provided, and I could tell that I was building their trust. The call lasted for over an hour, and I was giving them actionable feedback on how they can improve their recordings going forward. They shared a couple songs that they wanted theirs to sound like, and I offered them a solution. I offered to help produce the song to make it sound competitive like the references they just provided. I broke down what I meant by produce, which in this case was to rearrange and to re-record the bass and the guitars. I was going to write additional synth parts and then retool the drums and end up programming them to sound like the references they provided. It was on them to re-record the vocals, and I gave them actionable feedback on how to get the best recording with their setup. I also made it clear that this is in addition to the mixing and mastering, so it's outside the scope of the original project, and I would have to charge additionally for my time. After our long chat, they were interested and they agreed to proceed. At this point, this made me feel good because we were able to come to a solution. I was going to help them produce their song. They were going to get the competitive track that they wanted, and I wasn't going to get a one-star review on my profile. Or so I thought. I created a custom offer on the Fiverr platform. I added the cost of production, and I added 1 week to the delivery time. They accepted the offer. Over the following days, they reached out and they said that they found a recording studio and that they were interested in having their vocals recorded there by a pro to get the best results. And then shortly after, they asked, why did I extend the delivery date? I responded with, hey, how was the studio tour? The website looks great. The original mix master had a 2-week delivery date and I added 1 more week for the production. I'm currently working on 10 plus projects and I like to give myself the time to do things right. Also, when I made the custom add-on, my understanding was that it may take time for you to have the vocals recorded, in which they replied, tour was great. awesome studio, great people. They have offered me an incredible offer, which is cheaper, including vocal guide, coach, and even singers for the sing-alongs. Hard not to consider to go all in with them, but since I'm already working with you and paid a significant amount of money, I'm willing to be patient. I'm hoping that it's going to be worth it. I would have appreciated the communication and a little transparency before you made those changes because it was uncalled for. If I knew you were working on 10 plus different projects, I would not have considered working with you, bro. Now, if you'd like to forfeit the project and refund me the money, I'm going to give you a fair chance to do so because I don't want you to underperform on my project because you have a lot going on. Plus, I know you have your own band projects going on too. I don't want to waste our time or money. Please make the decision. If you decide to keep the project, you better deliver right because I've invested a lot of money and time on your offer. And shortly after they said this, for the record, I heard your previous mix and master submission in the studio yesterday. It sounds all over the place, super rough and unclean. And hey, you're the pro here, so I expect more from you. Nice. Yeah, so that was the final straw for me. When working on Fiverr, you work with all kinds of people. Some people come across as direct or sometimes as insensitive, but it may not be their intention. Over time, you learn to be patient and to be positive as a seller on the platform. In this case, I was thrown off by how understanding and seemingly grateful they were over our Zoom chat and how it just flipped like a switch. And they just went back to being rude via text. So I did what any reasonable person would do in this situation, and I initiated to cancel the order. This is where I messed up again. When I initiated the cancellation of the order, I thought I was talking directly to Fiverr, but instead I was actually initiating to cancel the order with the buyer. So this was my message. This individual is rude and unprofessional. They were not satisfied with the original delivery due to issues with the files they provided. I called them to offer a solution. They agreed to the gig add-on plus timeline. After 1 day into a 21-day delivery window, they sent me a threatening message saying, you better deliver right because I've invested a lot of time and money on your offer. Understandably, that's not going to make someone feel good. Furthermore, Fiverr has a new feature. When an order is canceled, the buyer is still able to leave a public review on your profile. Here's their review. Seller's first submission was unsatisfactory. When I submitted revision request, he ignored most of my points and blamed me for providing low quality materials to work with. Then he offered me to produce the track for $250 extra because he thought that the song was not well produced. It was disrespectful, but I was open to critics and suggestions, so I bought his offer. He changed the delivery date after close to a month without notice or communication. So when I asked him about it, he said he was working on 10 plus projects. After I told him my concerns, he requested to cancel the project and gave me a bad review as a buyer. Horrible experience, do not recommend. I didn't leave him a bad review. I think he's referring to my cancellation request. Also, I did get a 2-star in communication. Pretty cool. So after all that, when you look at my profile, this is what you see. 660 5-star reviews, 1 4-star review, that's a different story, and 1 1-star review. I spoke directly to Fiverr to see if I could get this review removed as I felt it was an inaccurate portrayal of the experience. But the way it works is that they are only able to remove a review if it breaks the terms of service. The only solution that was offered was that I was able to jump on over to that negative review and leave a response on it, trying to defend myself. So I did that. I wrote a novel, and you're welcome to jump on over to my profile if you want to read it. So what did I learn from this experience? I believe the buyer was unreasonable and they had expectations that could not be met with the files that they provided. That doesn't mean that I couldn't have navigated it differently. I should have taken more time upfront and managed their expectations. Had they known from the get-go that I wasn't able to deliver the competitive mix that they had in their mind, I could have avoided this entire situation. The buyer in this case seemed to be hung up on the idea that I extended the delivery time without them knowing, but he accepted the add-on request, which clearly states adding 1 week to the delivery time. So naturally, I thought it was clear, but I guess he didn't. So it's on me that I didn't communicate that via text or via the Zoom chat that this is additional work, so it's going to take me more time and it's going to add time to the delivery time. Thankfully, I haven't seen this impact my profile in any sort of negative way that I can tell, so that's a good thing. So there you go. That's how I got my first 1-star review on Fiverr. It's not great. You definitely want to avoid it in the future, but it is what it is, and you learn from it, and you move on. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next video. One last thing. My band is putting out an album this Friday. It's called Superluminal. My band's called Locket. We've put out a bunch of singles so far. I will leave a link for it down below. We put a lot of time and effort into making this album. It's been a long time coming, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you gave it a chance and you just went and checked it out. You might even enjoy it. Wow. Okay, Superluminal, forever. Listen to it. That's it. Bye.